Hey guys, welcome back to another one. Today we're going to talk about anchors. I've been asked a question about how I anchor on reef without losing my anchor, and I use a sand anchor for this. I don't use reef anchors. I hate reef anchors because the prongs keep on straightening. They're a pain in the ass. So I use a sand anchor, which most of you guys know, and I got asked the question, why don't I lose my anchors? And I thought that's a very good question. So I'm going to show you that, and I'm also going to confirm something else. When I've been fishing with a lot of you other guys over the years, and we keep on drifting, you always want to know why the anchor never holds and why you drift. I'm going to explain that to you and show you that too. Both these things are very simple to fix, okay? So I'll stop you drifting and I'll stop you losing anchors. Ready? Okay. On here on the ground you can see I've got a sand anchor. That's all I use on the reef, on the sand, mud, wherever. I use a sand anchor, okay? And I want you to take notice on the chain. Can you see how long that chain is? Can you see the boat? When you've heard the saying, use the length of your boat and the chain, they're not lying. That's what you need to do to stay at anchor and not drift and not pull out. You really do. You need the length of your boat. I know it can be expensive, but if you want to stop all the drifting and the hassles and getting the shits and going home, run a chain the length of your boat. That's it, guys, seriously. It'll stop you drifting. And I'll show you why. A very simple explanation. You can see the anchor down there. You can see the chain. Once the chain's pulled nice and straight or pulled out in the reef, you pull it up tight in the current. That's what it should look like. And the chain will be doing this, going up towards the boat, okay, up towards the surface. Now, if you're in a bit of swell or a current or whatever, and your boat's doing this, okay, hang on, the camera stopped. Your boat's doing this, going up and down as well, up and down. Can you notice the chain? Under some of it lifts up. The anchor doesn't move. It's not pulling on the anchor. That's why, you'll sit still, you won't drag. A lot of people go to shops like BCF, Anaconda. You buy your little 10-pound sand anchor like so. It comes with a little bit of chain, usually 2 meters, like this one is it. I've got a shackle tail the chain. Okay? And that's what they go out in. They drop it to the bottom. Start going up and down the swell. Look, your anchor's moving. Getting pulled out. Every time you start drifting. Simple fact is, guys, you're just not running enough chain. It's as simple as that. Put more chain on. And the next thing is to stop losing anchors or sand anchors on the thing. And stop using, or what do they call the grapple anchors, reef anchors. I hate those things because the prongs keep on straightening, especially in a bit of swell or a bit of current, and you drift. So sand anchor. With a sand anchor on this platform here, there's a hole. Okay, put your shackle to that, and then you can see the chain runs down the shank of the shaft, and then I've got zip ties here through the hole and around the chain. That's called a trip system. So when you're driving away on your boat, if your anchor's stuck and you're driving up current, which you should be, that will pull forward, those zip ties will break, the anchor will be pulled from this end, pulled forward and pulled out. Very rarely lose an anchor. But as I'm doing this, I'm saying this, I've noticed a lot of people, and I used to do it years ago, but I don't do it now. They use zip ties, and these things can break fairly easy. So sometimes you got to put 2, 3, 4 on. But the main thing here is these things stay in the water. Once you break them off, they float away in the water. They don't dissolve. They don't go anywhere. They just float around the water. There's enough crap in our water as it is. So guys, don't use zip ties. That's the last thing you want to do. What you want to do, I'll show you. You don't want those things. They're just going to go in the water, float away like that. That's junk. You don't want more junk in the water. So what you want to do is go to Bunnings, get yourself a roll of cheap wire like this, tieable wire. This is just tieable wire. This stuff will, once you break this off, what's going to happen? It's going to sink to the bottom and rust away. No fish, turtles, or anyone else is going to get tangled up into them. So it's just a thin tieable wire. So all I do is put the wire through the hole, through the chain, and then twist it up. I've got one hand on the GoPro, one on the thing, it's a bit hard for me, but you get the drift. Use a wire, okay? And if the wire's too thin and you put it down, you keep on breaking the wire, use your noggin, double it over, put it through. I usually double it over, and it very rarely breaks, and when I'm driving it off, I've got to put quite a bit of pressure on it to break it. But it does break, and you won't lose your anchor. So get some cheap, notable, thin wire from Bunnings. It's a couple of dollars for a spool of it. Lasts forever. And when you break this off in the ocean, it just falls into the sand. It doesn't drift around. It'll rust away. It's gone. These things will float around the ocean forever. You don't want that. Use this. Okay. Bit better for environment. Look after what we're using and fishing out of. But that's it, guys. I use a sand anchor. That's a 10-pound anchor. That's a 4.5 metre boat. It's actually a 4.2, but it's a glass boat. It's heavy. I use a trip system, and I've got 4.5 metres of chain. It's a 4.2, but I've got 4.5 metres of chain. When I put this down on that boat, I don't go anywhere. And when I drive away, if the anchor gets stuck, the trip system breaks all the time. I get the anchor back. I think I've lost 2 in 40 odd years of fishing, so it works well. And the next thing, if you're not using electric engines and spot locking, you're still old school anchoring, which a lot of people still like to do. I like to do. Instead of pulling it up by hand, get yourself a ball like this. I splice it up with one of these rings. Clip it over your rope. It's one of those. It's a anchor yank. I can't say it. Anchor yanker. So basically, when you drive forward, that will slip down the rope. When it gets to here, that big loop will slip over this, and it'll go all the way along the chain. It'll slip right up onto your anchor, up to the shaft. Okay, it'll slip right up, and it will hold your anchor up on the top of the water column. If you drive hard enough, the ball will slide down along the rope, along the chain. Then all you gotta do is stop the boat and just pull it in. You don't have to pull it off the bottom. It's very quick, it's very easy. The only thing I will say about the balls is sometimes you see these guys, thank you mate, you'll see these guys driving flat out off using those balls. Don't drive flat out, that's very, very dangerous. If something goes wrong, if for some reason your anchor doesn't pull out or whatever, the front of the boat's going to fling around, you're going to injure yourself, injure your crew, and probably break your boat or even flip it over. Just when you're using this thing, just a nice slow steady pace. You don't have to go flat out until you know the anchor's off the bottom. When you know the anchor's off the bottom, if you're holding the rope, you can feel it. If you know the anchor for sure is off the bottom, you can go a little bit faster, get the ball going along the chain a bit more, up to the anchor. But don't drive off flat out like some of the twits. You're just going to do yourself harm if the anchor doesn't pull or break off. So that's it, guys. Just a bit of a quick spill on anchors and anchoring, and sorry about all the cars and the noise. It's apparently very busy on my street today. Anyway, enough said. Yeah, that's the end of the video. Hope you like this one. Hope it helps it out with the anchoring. Once again, guys, to stop drifting, just go get chain. Buy a chain. It's expensive, I know, but just go do it. It'll stop a lot of heartache. It really will. And use a trip system on your sand anchor or your plough, because you can trip them too. And guys, you're not going to drift. You're going to get your anchor back, and you're going to enjoy your fishing trips a lot more. Okay? Anyway, see you again next week, or whatever, soon. And give me a thumbs up and a like if it helped you out. See you shortly, guys.